Went 1-1 over the week, I guess. It was a little bit more standard of a SEC week where we played on Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday match against ranked Houston. I was happy with the third and fourth set. I thought it took us a while to get going. So we talked as a team about what that meant going forward, and I thought we did a better job against Liberty. And just really, really excited for what the SEC is going to offer. And it's a ton of challenge. We were just talking over lunch. The SEC could end up having the most tournament teams in it of any conference in the country, I think, by the end of the year. It's going to be tough night in and night out, and really excited for that challenge.
Questions? We'll start up front with Travis on the right side and then go back behind the lights to Tyler.
Yeah, I know this year y'all are kind of going back and forth between two setters. What's the thought process there, and what does kind of both of them bring to the game?
Yeah, we're in a system called a 6-2, which basically has 3 attackers at all time, and a little bit of it's just based on what the sum of our parts is. That's the best lineup for kind of us to put the most amount of value on the floor. And then what they bring, Nisa brings a ton of experience, that she's been playing the game at a super high level, both internationally and just the fact that she's a junior here. So I think there's that piece where she sees the game really, really well, and we can have some conversations back and forth. And then what Margot's being able to do as a freshman is pretty remarkable. A lot of people talk about how difficult it is to do things your first year at a school. And we have a lot of freshmen and a lot of, first years, even Ital as a redshirt sophomore, just stepping out there and doing things at a really high level, and it's awesome to see.
We'll go back behind the lights in the middle to Tyler.
Yeah, Jamie, I mean, this is going to be your first, SEC schedule, but from what you've seen from the team so far, do you feel like you are where you want to be at and kind of prepared for conference play?
Yeah. I'll answer that question in 2 parts. First, we're further ahead than I thought we would be. And then the second part of it is the SEC is tougher than I thought it would be. I think if you look at the conference last year, Arkansas was getting good, but not top 15 good, and they're realistically top 15 now. And I think if you look across the conference, I think, one, they've done a really, really good job of hiring. That's not to toot my horn, but I think the majority of the coaches that they've brought into this conference are going to pick their teams up. And I think it's a testament, again, to just how deep and difficult this conference is going to be. But we're further ahead than I thought we would be. But the team has also showed me kind of what we're capable of doing now, so I'm pushing a little bit more than I probably would have been otherwise. So, yeah, I hope that answers that question.
We'll stay back behind the lights and go to the right side to Ben.
Hey, Coach, I know you pride yourself, pretty good at dissecting stuff on video. I'm curious, going into a conference slate where you get, mutual opponents playing each other, and you can, kind of scout out one team in advance while also kind of taking out some notes down the road for someone else. Do you feel kind of like y'all can really, as a coaching staff and yourself, get into a rhythm in terms of, compared to these non-conference opponents, trying to whip up something together real quick?
I hope so. Yeah, non-conference is hard. When you're scouting 3 teams in the span of 3 days, it's really, really difficult. So in terms of rhythm, that's one of the things we've talked about as a staff, of getting into a rhythm, of really trying to understand. And I think this last week, I said to our setters at one point, I'm like, man, it's nice to be talking about a team and know that I'm talking about the right team, because we had to be 2 matches in advance. So I think there's 2 sides of that. Yeah, we're going to get into a rhythm of the fact that we get to play teams multiple times and get to kind of build upon a scouting report that we did earlier in the season. But I think the other one, too, is just that we get to dedicate ourselves to one team, where it's, hey, we're going to go spend 2 days really scouting and getting to the bottom of what this team is trying to do and how we stop it. And then once that's done, we can flip the page and get on to the next one. So I literally just sat yesterday just looking at our schedule, being like, all right, this is where we need to, put our head down from a scouting standpoint and go hard. This is where we can kind of take a breath. But we're looking forward to the opportunity to really kind of dive into the SEC and understand how these teams tick.
We'll do one more from TV Row on the left side with Donna.
Yeah, Coach, what are going to be some of the bigger challenges that...
Gotcha. Thanks for.
Gotcha. What are going to be some of the challenges that Mississippi State presents, and how do you just in general feel about going into that game?
Yeah, I watched them a little bit yesterday, and I think speed. I think when we've seen that this year, just Baylor, Houston, and there are a couple teams that we faced early on that we ended up beating also. But I think adjusting to that and really trying to understand what they're doing, trying to do in each rotation is the biggest thing. And I've said this for our team, and we're going back to basics today. It's going to be more about what we do on our side of the net. I think that's going to determine probably these next 2 or 3 matches. And we'll have some subtle things of, hey, these are what these teams are trying to do. But at the end of the day, it's a little bit more about who's going to play the better brand of volleyball. And we need to get to playing that.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.